Welcome everyone to the 2023 GreenLatinos Live Awards Quinceañera edition. Thanks everyone, thanks for being here. It's an exciting night, it's unbelievable. About 6 months ago, I was looking through our tax documents and I saw that we became a nonprofit 15 years ago. And I said, we gotta run with that quinceañera theme. And so that we decided our GreenLatinos Live would be a quince celebration. And so we are going to make sure that you get to relive your quinceañera, some of you for the very first time. So I want you to enjoy it. We'll have awards, and then we'll have a little show, and then we'll have dancing and a music and some live karaoke. I know you guys love that, so sign up for the live karaoke and be part of that program. Shh. For 15 years, we've been working, convening, supporting, advocating with some of the best environmental, conservation, climate justice leaders in the world. How we're able to be that support system, to bring people together so that they can build their own relationships, so they can help each other, so that they can help utilize the resources that we each uniquely hold to make sure that we're able to fight for our environmental liberation together. And then our ability to be able to be an intermediary, to be able to deliver resources from those who have it to those who need it. It is surprising, but from all the talk about how much support everyone wants to give to Frontline EJ, there are still hundreds of Frontline EJ efforts and campaigns that are completely under-resourced. And so we've got to make sure we all do what it takes to be able to make sure that those promises are kept and those resources go to where they're needed. So let's hear it for Frontline EJ. Let's make sure we support them. There we go. 15 years ago, when we got our tax ID, our original name was the National Latino Coalition on Climate Change. That was a mouthful. We were focused on passing, very specifically on passing federal climate legislation. And 5 years later, after a lot of conversations with environmental advocates and leaders, we really saw that the need that they said was that they didn't feel like they were part of a bigger movement. They felt siloed. They felt isolated. Sometimes they didn't feel listened to. Sometimes they didn't feel like they were part of a bigger familia. And so, about that time, I had my first child. Her name is Sol Olivia. I wish she could be here tonight. It would be amazing. I also have a son now, Javier Alejandro. They're 8 and 10. And we rushed our daughter to go to LA to visit my mom. My mom was dying from leukemia, leukemia most closely associated with benzene pollutant. And my mom blessed her and said she'd always watch over her and said she'd always take care of her, and was able to see her only grandchild, and then passed away a week later. But it was an amazing blessing, and it opened my eyes to say, hey, my mom promised that she would take care of my daughter. I've got to keep that promise. And so that was the moment that we decided we wanted to change it to GreenLatinos. And with some good friends, some are here tonight, Andrea Delgado. Andrea, raise your hand. And Chris Espinoza, I'm not sure if he's here yet. There he is. That was the brain trust. The two brains I was trust. And to be able to really put together the backbone for what was going to be GreenLatinos, a nationwide network of Latino, Latina, Latina, environmental conservation, climate justice champions who come together across different sectors of the movement, whether you enter through Big Green legacy groups, Frontline EJ, academia, foundations, the government sector, corporate sustainability. We all have the same mission and we all have the ability to share the resources that we have together. We've grown in the last 15 years. We've grown in the last 3 years. We were 4 staff at the beginning of the pandemic. And the board and our members, just before the pandemic hit, we moved our strategic plan. And they said, damn it, you gotta grow. You gotta stop being comfortable as a small organization. The need is great, you gotta grow. And so today we're an organization of 22 staff. 22 of the most amazing staff that you'll ever see, that you can't steal. And we'll be 30 before the end of the year. Our programs, our ability to convene, like tonight, to bring people together face to face, our ability to do it at our national summits. Who here's been to a Green Latino summit? Come on. Let me hear it. All right. Who here's been to 2 Green Latino summits? All right. Who here's been to 3 Green Latino summits? 4. Who here wants to give $1,000 to Green Latinos? Our ability to convene, to be able to build those relationships, to let you know we're not alone. Even though it may seem like we're the only one in our office that looks like us, or we may be the only one in our community that does ocean acidification or does groundwater or ocean work or any of the work that we do. Sometimes we feel isolated, but we're not. We've got people in our area. We've got people that work on the things we work on. We've got people that want to support us. And so it's a great opportunity to get to know the people around you. So please, have a mojito, loosen up, meet the people around you, and have fun tonight. A couple of programs I want to quickly highlight. We've been fortunate to be able to bring together national Latino organizations for a couple purposes. One was to move something called the Latino Climate Justice Framework. Yes. Led by our amazing Irene Berga, she was able to pull together 22 national Latino organizations for a year-long process to be able to pull together what are the disproportionate issues that affect the Latino community when it comes to the climate crisis, and how do we address them, and what's the data information behind it. We had great help from Earth Justice, UCS, that really helped to be able to get it over the finish line. But it is an important document that everyone needs to be able to read, to take back their communities, to know that whoever you are, wherever you're at, you can advocate on these issues. You have the framework to be able to do that work. We also have been fortunate to be able to bring together Latino groups to be able to support them so that we get our fair share of the government grants that are offered under Justice 40, under IRA, under the infrastructure bill. The Latino community, we don't want to just benefit from these grants. We want to get these grants. We want to be able to serve our own community. And if we don't know what the needs are, if we don't know the technical support that's out there, or what grants are available, or how we can build a collaboration to get a winning grant application and the infrastructure we need, then we're not going to take it to that next level. We were fortunate, we are 1 for 1 on federal grants. And I want Joan Cato to raise her hand right here. Joan leads our Colaborativo 40 effort, which is the effort to be able to make sure that more Latino organizations know that there is support out there, that there's technical support, that there's people that want to help them, that there's resources to be able to participate in grants. Not everyone has to be a primary grant recipient, but they can partner with primary grant recipients. It's an exciting time, and it's going to pass us by in a couple years. So if we don't take advantage of it now, we're not going to take advantage of it. So make sure that you help your organization to be aware of the grants that are happening. And then finally, those grants are going for us to be able to re-grant. We have a re-grant entity called the Justicia y Equidad Fund. And we're going to be fortunate. This was just a dream, But now we're going to be fortunate to be able to re-grant over $23 million over the next 2 years. And maybe more. So if any of you have re-granting funds, you need to get out to the Latino community, come see us. Justicia Equidad Fund. It's exciting. We want to be able to get the money and get the resources and get the support out to those who need it. And we don't mind making small grants and helping the community out where they live. And so, please, let's make that a reality. Finally, I want to really recognize the state teams. They're doing great work. We've got Colorado, we've got Texas. Colorado, raise your hand. All right. Where's Texas? They're doing amazing work, really doing the convening, doing the support work, and then how we can advocate together and getting the wins. We'll soon have Illinois, we'll have California, and we'll have New Mexico. And then next year, probably Arizona and Nevada. That's a preview. So we're really excited about being able to do these things. And our policy teams are amazing as well. GreenLatinos policy teams, raise your hands. Come on. All right. Know the policy people. Look for the flowers. Meet them. Get to know them tonight. It's important. Finally, the quinceañera is a celebration of an important time in a child's life when they're supposed to enter into adulthood. I think it happens a lot later than that, especially for me. But that's what it's supposed to mean. Hasn't happened yet. So imagine right now if you're 15 years old. Shh. Stick with me for another minute. Imagine right now you're 15 years old and you're at this quinceañera. You're starting high school, but you know the reality of the situation is you're living in a rapidly overheating world. Stronger climate change-induced weather events, flooding, disasters, heat waves, droughts, floods, hurricanes. You see the environmental degradation in front of you. By the time you graduate from college, we will have surpassed the 1.5 Celsius increase in the Earth's temperature. And that is what the scientists say is holding us back from very strong disasters that are going to be difficult to come back from. And so we know that we have to face this existential climate emergency, that we have within this next decade to be able to do it. And the effects of climate change aren't just the environmental effects, but the intensify systemic, social, environmental, and economic injustices. They disproportionately affect indigenous people, communities of color, growing climate migration populations, rural communities, the poor, women, elderly. It really does exacerbate the inequities that are out there. So I'm not going to get further into what happens when this kid turns 40, because that's too dystopian. What I am going to do is I'm going to say, thank God you're 15, because when you're 15, you don't know that you can't do everything. When you're 15, anything is possible. When you're 15, the rules don't apply to you. When you're 15, you still believe that you can make the change that we're going to need. So we're going to need to be 15-year-olds. We're going to need to believe in the audacity of the effort and what it's going to take to be able to achieve our environmental liberation, to be able to save the next generation from the worst effects of the climate disaster. So let's all be 15 tonight. Let's enjoy the food, the drinking, the quinceañeras. There's a photo booth in the back over there. We've got the step and repeat there. Please meet our members. I want to thank a couple people real quick before I jump off stage. You know, we wouldn't be able to do this work without our partners. And our partners have supported us for years and years. These aren't first-time partners. These are partners that have been with us for 5, 10, 15 years consistently. And so I don't want you to hold your applause. I want you to light it up when I say the names of these organizations. These are our quinceañera, padrinos, and madrinas that help make this happen. They help pay for our fly-in. We brought in 25 fly-in participants from across the country. Let me see our fly-in participants. Come on. They have been meeting with their members of Congress. They met with CEQ, with DOI, DOE. They have been telling them the truth. They have been telling them stories. They have been letting them know what's happening in their communities. They've been strong, they've been smart, and they've really been fearless. And they're gonna go home and they're gonna say, come on, we can all do this. And so it is amazing that you're here tonight, and thank you. And then our quinceañera padrinos and madrinas from the top, Earth Justice. Come on. Let's keep it going for Environmental Defense Fund and Eco Madres. All right, let's hear it for League of Conservation Voters and Chispa. And the Climate Action Campaign. And Climate Power. Come on. Let's hear it for Trust for Public Lands. The National Wildlife Foundation. Televisa Univision, who's donating their offices for us to have our event tomorrow. Everyone come to our recalentado tomorrow. The panels are going to be amazing. Finally, the Wilderness Society. Population Connection, the National Parks Conservation Association, and the Union of Concerned Scientists. We're about to kick off some awards, so I would really appreciate it if you guys would listen to it. These are some of the heroes in our community that you have already or will read about in the papers, that you're gonna want to know and you're gonna want to hear from them. We've got the Robert Garcia Living Legacy Award, the Champion Award, the Community Advocate Award, and the Emerging Leader Award, and the Compañera Award. So let's have the spirit, the energy, the audacity of a 15-year-old as we celebrate our quinceañera and have a fantastic evening. Thank you.
Hola a todos, my name is Amanda Pantoja. I work with GreenLatinos as part of their Sustainable Communities program. Born and raised in LA. Any fellow Angelinos in the house? Okay. Well, I'm up here very excited to be awarding the Emerging Leaders Award to someone who has been a tireless, hardworking, passionate advocate in South LA who started her activism at only 9 years old. And that Emerging Leader Award is going to go to none other than Nayeli Cobo. So let's give her a round of applause. Can you? Unfortunately, Nayeli could not attend today as much as she would love to, so I'm going to be reading her speech. So let's start with this. Hola a todos. While I am not able to stand before you today, I am deeply humbled and profoundly honored to accept this year's Emerging Leader Award presented by GreenLatinos. This recognition is not just a personal achievement, it is a testament to the resilience, strength, and collective power of our Latino activists, advocates, and eco-warriors. Sí se puede indeed. This award is not mine alone. I dedicate it to the countless individuals who have tirelessly worked to protect our planet and advocate for environmental justice within our communities. It is dedicated to those who have championed the cause of sustainability long before it became a global movement. Growing up as a Latina, I learned from an early age that sustainability was more than just a buzzword. It was a way of life. Carpooling, turning off the lights, reusing packages, all practices were ingrained in us because of our elders understood the importance of taking care of our environment. Our roots are deeply intertwined with nature, and our ancestors passed down a legacy of wisdom and respect for the environment. While I regret that I cannot be present with you all today due to scheduling conflicts, please know that I am beyond grateful and deeply honored to have been nominated and selected for this award. It serves as a reminder that our work is not in vain and our voices are being heard. As we move forward, we must continue to raise awareness for our communities, advocating for clean air, clean water, and a healthy planet. We must carry forward the love and wisdom that our ancestors have passed on to us, for it is in this knowledge that will guide us toward a more just and sustainable future. Together, as a united force, we will create change, and together we will build a just and sustainable world for future generations. Thank you, GreenLatinos, for this incredible honor, and thank you all for your unwavering dedication to the planet we call home. Let us keep pushing forward, for our cause is more important now than ever before. Adelante, mi gente.
Hola a todos. My name is Irene Burga. I'm the Climate Justice and Clean Air Program Director at GreenLatinos. Thank you. So tonight I have the immense honor of presenting the Nuestro Compañero Award to an exceptional partner and ally of GreenLatinos. This award recognizes organizations that have shown exceptional commitment to serving as allies to the Latino community in our ongoing fight for equity, justice, and environmental liberation. This year, with great pride and deep gratitude, we bestow this Nuestro Compañero Award upon Climate Nexus. Give a round of applause. Woo! Climate Nexus has consistently demonstrated their unwavering commitment to not merely partnering with us, but standing shoulder to shoulder with GreenLatinos in our quest for a more equitable, just, and inclusive world. They have achieved this through creative, honest, and bold storytelling about the issues, solutions, and people that define our struggle and our comunidad. Yay, I see them right there. Okay. Our remarkable collaboration that exemplifies this partnership is the Latino Climate Justice Framework that Mark referenced in the beginning. Together, Climate Nexus and GreenLatinos worked tirelessly to bring this vital framework to fruition last year. This initiative is a testament to Climate Nexus' deep commitment to understanding the unique challenges of the Latino community facing us in our fight against climate change and for equity. It provides a blueprint for action, a roadmap towards a future where voices are heard regardless of their background and heard and respected in the pursuit of environmental justice. In the spirit of true allyship, Climate Nexus has worked alongside GreenLatinos to address the pressing issues of our time, recognizing that the fight for a sustainable planet is intrinsically linked to our pursuit of justice. As we celebrate Climate Nexus right now, we also celebrate the power of collaboration, the strength that comes from unity, and the transformational impact of being true allies. Climate Nexus has exemplified what it means to be a compañero, a friend, a partner on this journey towards a brighter and more equitable future. So it's my privilege and honor to present them with this award. Come on up. And this is Gabby Levy and Javi. Yes, give them a round of applause.
Thank you so much. This is such an honor for us. I'm going to shut up, but I'm just so grateful to be partners with GreenLatinos, thrilled to be here, and so honored for this.
I just want to give a huge thanks to GreenLatinos. I am from the small but very mighty island of Puerto Rico, and it's truly an honor to work with Green Latinos and support the Latino climate justice framework. Thank you all so much.
Hola, buenas noches. First of all, muchas felicidades, Green Latinos, on your quinceañera. I actually dislike, and one of my least favorite parts is public speaking, but this occasion really deserves me doing this for the person who is going to receive this award. Shh, silencio, gracias. Well, like I said, buenas noches. Thank you for having me here, Green Latinos. Mariana, good job in organizing everything. And I stand here to present the Community Advocate Award to an individual who is a friend and an ally to many of us in this room. As you all know, being a community advocate takes a lot of time, and it sacrifices a lot of time from our families, from our loved ones, even from our own self-care and mental health care. So this award is definitely very, very well deserved to the individual that will be receiving this. It takes a certain type of individual that can dedicate their energy to uplift others' stories to a platform where they didn't exist before. Someone who can tirelessly listen to people's concerns and still be able to help translate them into change. I am honored to have been invited to present the Community Advocate Award to the only one, Cris Espinosa. I am also greatly honored to have had the pleasure to be part of his team not too long ago before he departed to Earth Justice. And to have worked on the great project of the A. Donald McKeachin Environmental Justice for All Act with you. And we did a lot of work together. I know that we continue to do a lot of work even though we are on separate sides. But I learned a lot and greatly from you. Especially on some of the trips that we did with the environmental justice input tours. Even though you don't like to be receiving this type of attention, you deserve it time and again. And thank you for the highs and lows. The last thing I want to say is that we don't only acknowledge your achievements, but also express our solidarity with what it takes to be an advocate with you, like you, and that your tireless efforts have left an indelible mark on our Latino environmental community, and we are all beneficiaries of that work. Congratulations.
Green Latinos! I can't even begin to tell you all how really, truly touched I am by this. And I promise I won't take up too much time other than to just greatly say thank you so much for this honor. We have done so much together, and to see what Green Latinos is now and where we started, and all of you being a tremendous part of that is just amazing to me. Whatever I have participated in and helped to support, there are a couple of things that I never forget. Number one, I just built upon what was laid out before us from the wisdom of the elders and the folks who laid the groundwork for where we are today. Folks like Richard and Juan and Ana and so many more. And so I'm grateful to be in community with you, to do that work, to continue building. We have so much more to go. We have to pass Raul Grijalva's Environmental Justice for All bill. We have to create the kind of change that our communities deserve. And I'm grateful to all of you for continuing that work. Thank you so much.
The chair of the Congressional Hispanic Caucus, Nanette Barragan, has been an environmental leader from before she was elected to Congress. She fought for her coastal ocean to protect from oil drilling in California and won. She has fought in Congress. She's fought her whole life. She's one of the youngest of 11 children. Her parents were not educated, but she found a way to have the bravery and the audacity to take on oil and gas and to do it over and over again. As chair of the Congressional Hispanic Caucus, she's pushed the Hispanic Caucus to pay more attention to environmental issues, to climate issues. She's been a leader. She came here earlier tonight, but she couldn't stay because she was feeling sick and they had votes. So I'd love to welcome Matt, her staffer, there we go, to accept the award on her behalf. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. How's it going? So I'm going to be brief because, as you can see, I'm not Congresswoman Barragan, and usually staff don't grab the mic. But she wanted me to share a few words with you that she had, written down, and it's really just that she's extremely honored for this award and for all the work we've been able to do with GreenLatinos, as well as so many advocates and groups in this room. We've accomplished a lot in the last few years. Record climate, environmental justice investments, finally getting environmental justice groups a seat at the table, and having an administration that we can really work with to try and make progress on some air and clean water regulations. But we know that it's not enough. We're not even close to there. As a staff person, I get a lot of the meetings that Mark talked about earlier of community groups from all parts of the country who are fighting the fossil fuel industry, that are fighting urban oil drilling, that are fighting off a gas plant, that are fighting off a highway. And, they're counting on us to keep pushing. And so, the Congresswoman is in those meetings. This is her top priority, she tells me all the time. And so, we're going to keep pushing with all of you. We can't do it without you. We're going to keep pushing to make sure that we get where we need to go and achieve environmental justice for Latinos and communities of color. And I'm so glad to be here with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. GreenLatinos, ¿cómo estamos? A ver, GreenLatinos, ¿cómo estamos? Vámonos. Así es. My name is Ángel Damián Soto Peña. I'm the privileged executive director of the Nuestra Conservation Project and a damn proud member of GreenLatinos. Buenas tardes y bienvenidos a todos to the GreenLatinos Live. And it is truly an honor to introduce the recipient of the Robert Garcia Legacy Award. In a time when Latinos, as we know, we are usually historically and been deliberately excluded from many of the conversations. But as we have been doing this work, our next recipient is one of those folks who have been leading the way and leading the charge. Richard currently serves as the co-chair of the inaugural White House Environmental Justice Advisory Council. Richard has also served on the Environmental Protection Agency's National Environmental Justice Advisory Council, where in 1993 he was the elected chair, and Richard is the coordinator for Los Jardines Institute in Albuquerque, Nuevo Mexico, and national coordinator of the Environmental Justice Health Alliance for Chemical Policy Reforms, advocating for stronger, safer, and just chemical policies. He is also co-founder and board member of Just Transition Alliance and a board member of Coming Clean Incorporated. I will tell you, who comes from the frontera? Anybody come from frontera? Yes. And so down in the frontera in Nuevo Mexico, where we come from, me and him, they have a saying, the taller the socks, the harder the vato. And I'll tell you, the first time I met Richard Moore, he had his socks super tall. So I can tell you, and I can vouch for him, that he is one of the hardest vatos out there. And so with that, please, Mr. Richard Moore. Show him your socks. Míralo, 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 míralo.
Well, I think some people that know I'm a little bit shy. So just bear with me for a few seconds. And with your permission, I'd like to ask our ancestors to give me permission not only to accept this award, but to never forget those whose shoulders we stand on and have given up their lives to make it possible for us to be here. So please just bear with me for 1 second. I just want to take a moment, just a quick moment to ask the ancestors for permission to say a few words. Well, I wanted to begin this very, very brief comment. I was thinking about when I was 15 years old, and when Mark was talking about that, and quite frankly, that was quite a few years ago, so I had to do some serious thinking for that little while. I just want to give us some quick reminders of several things so that we can begin additionally to the celebration this evening. I had the honor, we at Los Latinos Institute don't accept awards in the name of Richard Moore. And we had to do some consultation with our members and our leadership within Los Latinos Institute because at the end of the day, I've never done anything by myself and will never do anything by myself to go along with it, but I very clearly accept this award on behalf of those, as I say, that have given up their lives to make it possible for us to be in this celebration this evening. I want to just remind us of a couple of very, very quick things. Now watch, if we could just have your attention, I know we're ready to cut loose here in a few minutes, But I want to respect the sisters and brothers that have made this activity this evening possible, again, for us to be here in this celebration this evening. I was remembering in 1970, for those of you that remember, several things happened. We've been dealing with over 500 years of repression. And so I was thinking about 1970 because in 1970, right before that, we were demonstrating in Albuquerque because the sewage facility was where located? In the primarily Latino, African American, and other working class community. And we contacted some of the environmental groups in 1970 because if you remember, the EPA was put together in 1970 and then also in 1970 was the first Earth Day activities. And so we remember we were having a demonstration at the sewage plant in the community of San Jose in Albuquerque, and we contacted one of the Earth Day committee, and we said, hey, sisters and brothers, we're in some struggle here, and we need some support. And so can we be a part of, and not only a part of, but a major part of the National Earth Day celebrations. And we explained what our struggle and what our issues were, and they got back to us and said, those issues that you're talking about are really not environmental issues. And so we got together. I'm going to keep it short. Bear with me. And so we got together and we said environmentalism and conservationism, well, we think that the issues that we're being targeted by, intentionally targeted by, for those that others and many others do not want in their communities, are primarily Latino and communities of color. So we got back to the National Earth Day Committee and said, with all respect, sisters and brothers, we were looking with some binoculars in the middle of the sewage plant, and there was a tree in the middle of the plant. And we saw up on the top of that tree that there was a nest in the tree. And then we kept looking and we kept looking and we kept looking, and then all of a sudden there was an owl that we saw, and then the owl had some little owls, some little baby owls. So can you please engage us with the opportunity? And so then this is where part of the theme came from. We are people of color, and at the end of the day, we are people of color that primarily don't have the protection, don't have the reality of the protection. So I want to keep it short, but I want to thank Rudy and many others that are around this room. I'd like to thank the farm workers that have made it possible for some of the food that we're eating this evening. We would also like to remember at the end of the day that we redefined environmentalism and conservationism in the 1970s and so on, and particularly in 1991 at the first People of Color Leadership Summit. So let's not forget that we redefined environmentalism as where we live, work, play, pray, and go to school. And that's what opened up, as some said, the can of worms in terms of the definition. I'm also honored to not only be with you here this evening, but to remember our brother in struggle, Robert. Robert was one of those mentors to many of us, and that in the process of that, then he was working on several of the issues in LA and others, parks, conservation issues, and so on. So just to close it, I just asked you to do what our elders have asked us to do. Our elders reminded us after we came back, the Latino delegation from Mexico, to the Poor People's Mobilization, Poor People's Campaign in Washington, and a group of elder women and men convened us to northern New Mexico and said, all sisters and brothers without respect, come to the north with us and work in the potato fields, and let's have some discussions. So they said to not only meet, but to us, number one, let's always remember where we come from. Let's always remember whose shoulders we stand on, and that those that have given up their lives, whether it's Cesar Chavez and many of our other women and men leaders throughout this movement, that never forget whose shoulders we stand on and who have given up their lives to make it possible for us to be not only celebrating here tonight, but celebrating the many, many years of celebration that we're going to continue to do. And in all respect, sisters and brothers, always remember those two things and always give back to others what's been given to us. So thank you very much. We appreciate it. And I just will, lastly in closing, say there wouldn't be a Justice 40 if we wouldn't have demanded that the word justice be put into 40. Let's keep that in mind. That's why it's called Justice 40. Not out of the kindness of anybody's heart or otherwise. It's because our sisters and brothers have been going through both rural communities and urban communities throughout this country and beyond the beautiful island of Puerto Rico and other places to go along with it. So let's please celebrate. Let's celebrate this evening and have one hell of a good time. But tomorrow is another work day, and we're going to go back and stand for the health, safety, and well-being of our people. Thank you very much on behalf of Los Latinos Institute and our membership. Thank you very much, Mark, and we appreciate your time.
Muchas gracias. I don't have much more to say other than to say, ¡Viva Nuevo México! Me llamo Gabriel Vázquez, soy un hijo de inmigrantes, soy un orgulloso representante en la Cámara, en el Congreso, and I'm so proud to be here with you all today. Proud to be a Green Latino, proud to be a supporter of Nuestra Tierra, proud to be a volunteer for Latino Outdoors. Everybody, let's have fun. Thank you all. Gracias, Ángel. Gracias, Mark. Thank you all for putting on this amazing event and for the legacy that you leave behind for us. Muchas gracias.
Thank you to everybody. That concludes our award ceremony. And again, welcome. My name is Mariana del Valle Prieto Cervantes. I am the Chief of Staff with Green Latinos. Yes, and you're making me nervous. And I just also wanted to highlight an individual leader that's here with us today as well. An incredible public servant, Dr. Wilkes, has worked with USDA for more than 41 years, heavily contributing to engineering, natural resources, and watershed projects, as well as forestry and working lands. His leadership as the director of Gulf of Mexico Ecosystem Restoration Division, where he was responsible for restoration of coastal ecosystems after the VP oil spill of 2010, has prepared him well for this role. He has also made historic confirmation when it comes to being the first African American to hold the position of Undersecretary for Natural Resources and Environmental at the USDA. Dr. Wilkes oversees the largest agency at USDA now, the U.S. Forest Service. Welcome, Dr. Wilkes.
Thank you very much. And I have to acknowledge Richard, because last week I was in South Carolina and a lady by the name of Gilda Hunter talked about you. Congressman, thank you. Folks, let me tell you something. I had a tie And I got here and I was very uncomfortable with that tie. I just want you to know that I didn't disrespect you. It's just that I felt like I was at home. Thank you for that kind introduction. And, you know, I'll try to be brief, be bright, and be gone, because when the congressman get up and speak that quickly, certainly I should be able to sit down. But I have some good news. So give me a minute or two. I want to thank the Congressman Vasquez and the Grajava and the other Congress members that actually supported the IRA funding, because I'm here to tell you, if Congress had not approved it, we wouldn't be where we are today as far as having funds to put in our communities. So when you see them, thank them, because it took a heavy lift to make that happen. So thank the congressmen. I also want to actually say congratulations on 15 years. 15 years is a long time, but not long enough. And I know the struggle, and I promise you, I understand the struggle. So thank you, Richard, and others who've gone before to make sure these days as they are now. And I have to give you a quick background on myself, because as I was talking about and the creator and some things that was taking place and who got in place, I thought about my own life. And that is that coming from Port Gibson, Mississippi, a small rural town, raised in a two-family home, but my grandfather had a major impact on my life, really impact my life. And I tell you, that's why I think where I am today. And as I think about being the Undersecretary of Natural Resources and Environment over the Forest Service, that's a real legacy, but it's not about me. It's about helping those who we need to help. And that's what my grandfather always shared. You didn't bless me to be a blessing to me. He blessed me to be a blessing to other folks. So, folks, I hope I can carry that out. That's my ultimate goal. So, I want to talk about a few. The discussion I've heard tonight, talking about the environment and making sure we have access to nature, tree canopy, and particularly in areas of color. That's so important, because we have been left out a lot in those type of endeavors. But it's through the efforts of the congressional delegations, through Richard and others that have afforded those opportunities. And I just want to say thank you again for those opportunities. But let me just tell you, you all probably know this person. Her name is Andrea Delgado. And what I want to tell you is that I'm very fortunate to be able to serve in this role, but I'm also very fortunate to have Andrea Delgado. Andrea, you all give her a hand, really. As we work to advance equity and environmental justice, you should know that you have a strong champion, in the office of the Undersecretary for Natural Resources and Environment. But let me just tell you, let me just make sure you understand this. I'm going to read this because I want to make sure I get it right. Andrea Delgado is my chief of staff. I mean, she actually runs me. I don't go any place unless she tells me this is where I need to be. So know that your voices are heard there, because she reminds me every day why we are there. The purpose-driven life. What she told me, she said, define your purpose and create your path. She's told me that on several occasions. So now I understand why. And I understand when Andrea comes in the room, everyone is really cheering her, and she deserves to be cheered. She really does. You know what? I really, and this is not truly about Andrea, but it really is, because she is the conscious. Everything that come up, she say, okay, sir, what are we doing for those underserved communities? What are we doing to folks who have been left out? So she is my conscience about those things. Now, I'm committed to doing that, but every now and again, it's important to have someone that will actually say, okay, what about the person that's not represented here? And she reminds me of that often. So I want to say again, publicly, and I tell her privately how much I really appreciate the work that she does, because she's making sure that the voices are heard that's in the communities that haven't had that voice before. So Andrea, congratulations. I see what you have done here. Really appreciate your work. Now, let me talk about why we are here. I will tell you that under the Biden-Harris administration, I'm very, very proud to serve in the administration. And under the leadership of Secretary Tom Vilsack, he tells us all the time, we talk about words, but I can tell you that diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility, they're not just words in our office. I mean, that's what we should be about. We need to have a diverse workforce. Help me with that. And we really want that to take place. We also need to have equity. Everything we do should actually be looked at through the lens of equity. We really should do that. And it's okay to applaud because I'm committed to doing those things. We talk about inclusion. You know, you should never go to an office and feel that, you know, you're asking something that you don't deserve. You know, we said that you're taxpayers. I work for you. So when you go to those offices, you should go there very boldly and say, okay, I need this help. I need you to do these things right here. So we want to include those processes. And let's talk about accessibility. You know, the programs may be out there, but I've heard time and time again, and when they first started, you know, you didn't have the access to the programs that you have now. So I'm committed to making sure that you have, that there's diversity, that there's equity, there's inclusion, and there's accessibility to all the programs that USDA have. That's my commitment. So I want to say, thanks to this historic investment, I told you there was roughly $1.5 billion that was put in the urban community forest process. Now, you talk about Justice 40. I want you to know that, Andrea, we probably had 100% 40, right? Because, really, because what happened is that over 99%, I would say, best to say, that went to communities that's underserved and they're people of color, unheard of. So I'm very proud to be a part of the urban community forest piece. So you're probably wondering, okay, you know, what's my slice of the pie? I'm glad you asked. What I will tell you is that I'm happy to inform you that GreenLatinos will receive $25 million. Yeah. And more importantly than that, $20 million will go to support frontline organizations to plant and maintain thousands of trees in Latino communities. That's what we heard. You know, this will be a group that will actually serve as the gatekeeper, but money will be put out in those various communities. And you heard Mark talk about that. Folks, that's a reality, and I'm glad to say that we are part of that. And as I close, I just really, I sit back and I reminisce and I think about, okay, the importance of trees. You know, we need a tree canopy because if we think about, you know, urban American, urban cities, the heat index is really, you know, it's high. And scientists, and I believe as a scientist, I've been told that trees can reduce the heat index anywhere from 10 to maybe 12 degrees. Think about what that does for utilities. Think about what that does for families. And I grew up on a farm, so I can tell you, even a little bitty tree, if I could get up on it, it gave me some relief from sun. So that's the same purpose that we have this. It's a right, it's a responsibility, and those are the things that we should actually be doing. It's a given right. I can go on and on, but I'm here to tell you, I am very excited to be a part of this endeavor. I see this group as my family. We have had the struggles. Thanks to Richard and those that have gone on with Richard. And folks, we can make this happen. So let's be committed to our committees and let's make sure we have a diverse equity, inclusion, as well as accessibility USDA. And that's where I am. Thank you very much for this meeting, and we'll go from there.